Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California. And welcome to the intellectual orgy that is the Nerdrotic Nooner. You like that one? Just made it up right now. Hope you like that. Welcome, everybody in the chat. Rebecca Gold, Brian Pollock, Mike Brown, author Mike Brown, quote fan of quote Colin P. Smith, Astasia, Albert James, Trina Guthridge, Don P.S., John M., Darth Scipio, Shinto Ketchup, Halam899, who's watching for the first time, Mark Lazerth and his wrench, Bear, because he can only fit 3, Venom Broly, Cameron Hamilton, Sean Stark. Are you a member of the Stark family? Are you an offshoot? Are you a Car Stark, a Gray Stark, or a True Stark, or a Tony Stark? Beelzebub, and I'm in there too, and Clear Spira, A Man Is No One, Vince and Repeat, Albert James, and Seflu, or Keflu, I'm not sure. Hello, everybody. We have a lot to talk about today. Man, all my videos got pushed off because of the DC Universe thing. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of that, just news stuff. I'm going to be trying to crank out more content because I have some making up to do. I was traveling for 11 days. And prior to that, I got hit with the copyright strike and lost a week's worth of pay. And it's very noticeable at this point in time. So, how do we deal with this? I deal with it the same way I dealt with it at the comic shop. When things slowed down, it just meant I had to work harder. So I'm going to work harder. That's it. Sleep be damned. Thank you, Skyju, for the £1. I appreciate it. Today, we will be talking about Doctor Who. Russell T Davies again has stated he will not return ever. And I want to know what's really behind that. And if anybody knows, because I don't. I'm going to speculate, but I don't. I think it's probably the BBC, but it got my wheels turning today about Doctor Who and the BBC in general and the streaming wars and the changing landscape of television and platforms. And the BBC with Doctor Who relies heavily on licensing and merchandising, as does anything genre these days. Star Trek, Star Wars are no different. And the BBC must be taking it in the shorts right now over Doctor Who season 11. And I suspect they're seeing the reality of this right now. Now, some contracts might be in place to that might buy them some time for a year or two, but especially with the year break, they've got no Doctor Who income. And I believe, I'm not sure if Top Gear is still on the air over there. I haven't really been paying attention because I don't watch that show anymore ever since Jeremy Clarkson left. And they used to have 5 years ago, they had 2 of the biggest shows in the world. They had Top Gear and Doctor Who bringing in tons of income, and they don't have that anymore. So why would they experiment with their one remaining show? I have no idea, but we can certainly speculate on that. They must be hurting, but they will never admit it. They will never admit defeat on that, because that would be admitting their agenda doesn't sell. And wow, how many times do we have to see this before somebody comes around, before some franchise comes around? Who's going to be the first, or are they all going to die on us? Who knows? We'll have to see. As well, I was thinking about this when I just posted this on Facebook. I have a Nerdrotic Facebook group and a Nerdrotic podcast page. Please go and join. All are welcome. As I was posting it on my personal Facebook, which you can friend me, that's fine. I've got plenty of slots left, and I deny no friendships unless they're those porn ones. I know I put Mark Waid on my thumbnail, and I'm friends with Mark Waid on Facebook. Listen, he's never liked any of my posts or pictures. I think it was done because I owned a comic shop at the time, and I think he's just forgotten I'm there. I'm certain he will notice this now. Maybe he'll like one of my posts. I don't really care, but we are going to talk about Mark Waid and Ya Boy Zack, because Mark Waid doubles down on the rhetoric, on rhetoric that I think should get him sued just for what he said, because continuing to attack fans, and your boy Zack is a fellow comic creator now, a successful one, but he's also a fan, and attacking fans, especially with the rhetoric that Mark Waid is attacking your boy Zack with, phew, man, I would sue the crap out of him. And there's got to be, I mean, there's got to be repercussions for this. That's why the Mark Waid lawsuit is really important. It's really important for fandom, and that's why a lot of us, you know, I'm not going to should you, but I'm going to pay attention to it, because this is consequences for actions. Your boy Zack was a fan who wanted to make a comic book, who wanted to put it in comic stores. Mark Waid kept that from happening, in my opinion, to keep Zack from getting quote unquote legitimized. I think he's legit already. And I think he's obviously, I think he's a more important voice in comics than Mark Waid is anymore. Mark Waid is a dinosaur who's way past his prime. And, you know, honestly, one of the least professional people I have seen in the last 5 years. And this, I used to be his biggest fan. I used to, one of the most recommended books in my shop was Irredeemable. I love that book. But as I've said before, when I open my pop-up in my online store, I will not be carrying any of his work. And yeah, that'll probably hurt me financially, but whatever. You know, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to support somebody like this, because this is part of the problem. Yeah, there are trolls and bad actors on both sides, but it is my belief the one who is the professional needs to act that way. Fans will be fans. And a lot of times you could just ignore that stuff. Believe me, I ignore plenty of criticism towards me, and I'm no worse to wear. Although Young Ripa is a guy I've been watching lately. I don't know. He just started popping up in my recommendations a couple months ago. And he has a great saying. I don't know if he came up with it, but I'm going to give him full credit. Monetize your haters. And that's something I should have done, because somebody actually made a video about me and I should have done it, but I didn't. Yeah, that's disrupt and boycott. Yes. I usually hate boycotts, but when it gets this bad, yeah, I mean, yeah, at this point, don't give them your money. I like the term boycott. I understand it, but I think it needs to be focused. I think we might need to focus one. I don't know. I can't be the one to start that, but certainly don't spend money on people. Don't give money to people who hate you, right? And don't treat you with respect. I also, it's not in the title. I want to acknowledge, because I've been traveling and I wasn't super aware of what happened to that umbrella guy. And apparently some people have been going after his kid. That is reprehensible. And I guess his kid's got a project up. I hope you can still put money on it, because I'm going to support it right after this live stream. And I mean, like, I don't know, my head was in the sand. So, and he's reached out to me for my stupid copyright strike. And here is this guy going through something way worse. So I just want to acknowledge it, fully support that umbrella guy. Great channel. Seems like, by all accounts, a great guy. He's got a cute little daughter that, you know, you can hear on his live streams once in a while, and anybody coming after her in any way. I don't know the details, but I've seen plenty of scuttlebutt, and some people have sent me messages. So yeah, got your back, that umbrella guy, and I will financially support you. Damn. Okay. So, Orville cards. Yeah, I don't have it in the title, but we need to talk about the Orville. We need to talk about Star Trek. We need to talk about Star Wars. We need to talk about Brie Larson and this what I thought was fake banter, but the more I look into it, the banter, I think there's actually something behind that. That's really weird. It's really weird, and wow, it's so Brie. It's so Brie. So yeah, let me oh darn it. I did not mean to do that. Let me get the chat popped out here so we can chat away, and then we'll go over the oh, why did that stop? We'll go over the Russell T Davies article first in a couple minutes to make good on talking about Doctor Who. And I am so not done talking about Doctor Who. I won't be until it comes back. As news pops up, I will share it with you. I will do videos. That's not going to stop. Right. Okay. One-man show here. One-man show. Thank you again, Skyju, for the £1. And Tharies, what's up? I watched your video the other day on Series 12. That was a good video. That's cool. It's all good stories. 5 pounds. Sorry, I haven't been around. I've been planning a crossover with certain other YouTubers whose name begins with B and ends with Trek. Yes, I am planning one as well. Now that you brought that up, I have reached out to Mr. Bowles Trek, and he got back to me, and it looks like we will be doing something very soon. We're talking within days. So stay tuned to Twitter, the community section here, and on all other of your favorite live streaming sources. And the Bowles Trick Nerdrotic team up, which is long overdue, is gonna happen. Lonnie Holcomb, $1.99. Ripa rocks. Ripa does indeed rock. I like that channel a lot. I've been watching the hell out of his videos. So yeah, he's a good YouTuber. He's a good YouTuber. He was in the chat yesterday for the High Council. I saw him pop in there. All right, let's get to the chat. And by the way, Matthew is the reason the DC video went out today. So everybody thank Matthew. Give him a little round of applause. And listen, I need you guys. I rely on you guys to set me articles. I cannot catch everything. And you guys are so good at it. So DM me. My DMs are open on Twitter. It takes me a while to get through them. Best way to get a hold of me, Gary@nerdrotic.com. I'm checking my email pretty religiously these days. And man, there is some good stuff coming up that I can't quite talk about yet. But there's some guest appearances and some good stuff. One thing I can announce that's official. Mrs. Nerdrotic and I will be attending the Star Trek convention in Vegas on July 31st through August 4th. We'll be there most of the days. We're not going to be there all 5 days. We're going to be there over the weekend. Got our tickets, got our hotel. It's at the Rio. I won't be staying at the Rio. Where are we staying? At the Palms? I think we're staying at the Palms or something like that. That's where Mrs. Nerdrotic wants to stay. But if anybody's in Vegas and wants to do a meetup, certainly can do that. So that's right after Comic-Con. I'm going to Comic-Con and then going to the Star Trek convention. So that should be fun. And plus, I need the write-off because, as it says in our description, today is the first official day of business of the company that is Nerdrotic. We became somewhat official today. We won't be totally official yet, but we've got bank accounts and stuff, so I can start writing stuff off, which I really need to do. Because yeah, you gotta have some stuff to write off, or you're gonna be paying through the ass, especially here in California. The Verge put out a Game of Thrones video with George helping to direct episode 1 of season 8. He doesn't care about Jon Snow. Is that what he said? Or he doesn't care about Jon Snow? Well, see, here's the big worry I have with George in the books is, times change, especially when you wait 20 years and 10 years to write a book. And he talked about reworking the ending, and I just get a bad feeling about everything. I know I hate to have it, but I got a bad feeling about the show, and I got a bad feeling about the book. By the way, my short review, which is also, it's not just going to be a review, it's kind of my thoughts on things, the Game of Thrones television show, will be out after this live stream, about an hour after this live stream. It's done. Nefarious Solo was about as close to George as will under Disney. Ron let George come to the set and probably let him secretly call the shots in the reshoots. I'm wondering. I heard about that. I heard he visited the set, Mark Ronan. That's interesting. And I just heard today that is he a consultant on episode 9 for real? It's not going to help. It really isn't. He doesn't care about Jon Snow. That has me wondering. Elaborate on that, Matthew. Gary, please, why you don't like boycotts. I never understood this. Ken Jack Ben. The reason I don't like boycotts is this, Ken Jack Ben. And this is not saying I don't think you should do it. It's always seemed like a tactic of the other side, Ken Jack Ben, and I don't like playing by their rules, but sometimes you have to, and sometimes boycotts hurt innocent people. But, and this is a big but, and that's a good question, Ken Jack Ben. It's good that you ask it. At this point, I'm gonna say I would support one. I would, because the rhetoric has gotten so bad. And when I get to the Mark Waid article, I would, anybody he works for, and I'm personally boycotting Mark Waid. So yeah, I mean, at this point, my mind has kind of changed on that. Happy business birthday, says the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey for £2. Thank you, my friend. I greatly appreciate it. And Lonnie Holcomb, thank you for the $1.99. Tharies, thank you. And check out the Tharies channel. It's a good YouTuber. He's got a channel. If one of my wrenches wants to link his channel in the description, it's THARRIES, Tharies. And Skyju, thank you for the $1. I appreciate it. So yeah, normally I didn't like boycotts because it just seemed like such a, God, for lack of a better term, SJW thing to do. But times change, man. So yeah, I think it's about time. The MCU is dead thanks to Brie. Mark Roden, it is. And I'm sure some of you guys saw my video of like how she has completely, and the character of Captain Marvel actually more than Brie. Actors, I mean, can annoy me, but I can ignore them. It's pretty easy to ignore them. But the way they presented Captain Marvel within the MCU has hurt my enjoyment of it. I won't say completely ruined, but it has hurt my enjoyment of it. And man, that was hard to do. That was hard to do, but they pulled it off. Watching my Tom Baker Blu-ray eps and enjoying every minute of it. Got them as a gift, so none of my money went to the BBC. Brian Pollock, good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I have purchased. I gotta admit the Tom Baker one I bought from my Amazon. I shouldn't have, but the Peter Davison one I bought from somebody else on YouTube, or not YouTube, eBay. So yeah, good. Peter Davison one's good too. It's good. I'm gonna review those eventually on Patreon. Mr. Chuck Nasty, hello. How are you? What's up? The Big Red Bear, Canadian $5. I mean, I'm not going to Star Wars Episode 9. Is that a boycott? I think it is a way. I think it is in a way. I am not interested. Boycotts kind of have to happen. Yeah. At this point, yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with Ken Jack Ben, and I'll agree with you that it kind of does have to happen. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go to even review it for the channel. I mean, I would be leaving clicks behind on that. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to go. I haven't decided yet. I'm undecided. But I would consider going and like paying for another movie and sneaking in, even though it's kind of dishonest, but well, it's totally dishonest, but that's the way. That's life. Pop Culture Minefield, Nerdrotic. Hey, Gary, it's the other Gary at Pop Culture Minefield. What's up, Pop Culture Minefield? Greetings. How are you? Brandy and Kevin. Sorry, Brandy. At Fredlet, it is woke. It just does it right. Like old Trek did hate to break it, that everyone but sci-fi is all woke, just did it right. I wouldn't say there's woke. And I think there's woke and there's, I don't know the term for, I hate to use the term progressive. I think there's moral tales, and then there's woke. There were certainly elements of it in Star Trek before, but it was never enough to annoy anybody. And that's, I think, a lot. I mean, I don't want to speak for all of you, but for me, I have a certain, there's certain amount I can totally take. It doesn't bother me at all, but it's just in absolutely everything now. And hopefully I can find this article. I only kind of briefly went through it. Give me a second here. I bookmarked it. And it looked to me, yeah, this is something I might have to do a video on. So Banff programmers talk showcasing timely political issues with 2019 lineup. We're looking at a discussion of global issues and where that meets our industry, says festival exec director. Okay, so it's a film festival talking specifically about like we need to have certain politics, and it's about the uptick in the injection of politics within pretty much everything now, and how the Hollywood is just basically doubling down. I don't have time to completely go over this article, but it's something I might do a video on. If not, I will cover it Friday. But it is, yeah. So for those of you who think we're conspiracy theorists here, and you can, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I own a tinfoil hat, but don't think that Hollywood is colluding to put politics in everything, especially the major franchises, for mass consumption so they can shape minds, so they can social engineer through Star Wars and through Doctor Who. It's happening. It is 100% happening. It is 100% deliberate, and it is coordinated. And if you don't think so, then I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. There's different levels of it, but it's go watch anything on network TV now, and there will be a political message every 15 minutes, if not more. That's what definitely ruined the CW for me. Yeah, it's just become propaganda. Mr. Roboto, $2. Skip Star Wars, see Guardians 3. Guardians is kind of Star Wars. It's more Star Wars than Star Wars has ever been. Yeah, we'll have to see if I'm going to see Guardians 3, because we're going to have to see how the MCU's doing by then, because I might have to skip them too. I don't know what the hell I'm going to be talking about on this show. Christian Basil, thank you, Mr. Roboto, for the $2. I appreciate it. Christian Basil, is that are you on Doomcock? Are you the Basil? There's other Basils, but hey, Gary, let everyone know to listen to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show on iHeartRadio. Can't wait to have you on. God dang it, I need to do that. Hey, Christian, let's try to do something within the next 2 weeks. Okay. I am back now, and I've gotten a lot of personal things done that I needed to get done. And yeah, we're looking. I even got my smushed car taken in today, which sucked. But Christian, yes, and definitely everybody listen to the Legends of the Traveling TARDIS radio show on iHeartRadio. That's legit. That is legit. How'd you get on iHeartRadio? That's cool. Hail Nerdrotic back in the game. Lawrence Crimmins, yes. And ready to fight every step of the way. CW equals completely woke, right? Paul Kane, it is worse than, oh God, Supergirl's the worst. Propaganda is destroying everything, says Mike Brown. It is. See no Hollywood films. Atari for life. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you know, Ken Jack Ben, it's good that you brought up that question, man. It's totally legit. And I was thinking about, like, how would you even pull off a complete Hollywood boycott? Because I mean, at this point, nobody would ever do it, you know. But the only way they would ever listen is if you really hit their revenue stream hard, and that would mean so many people banding together on a single issue. Solo was the biggest success. I'm not going to say that was all the boycott, but that had I think Last Jedi sucking had a lot to do with it, but I think the boycott did have a percentage to do with it. And that is the power of Star Wars fandom. But I see some people getting lured in by the Mandalorian. They're all, look at the Mandalorian, look at the Mandalorian. Look, the Mandalorian looks great. It looks great. It's not enough, and it can't be enough. Disney Plus, people have to flat out say no to that crap. As long as Kathleen Kennedy is still there, and I'm with Doomcock in this, and until we hear a fracking apology, I don't think, I think the wallet should remain closed. There is plenty of other things to do. I know Star Wars is a passion. There's a way to enjoy Star Wars without giving Disney money. There's plenty of vintage stuff out there that you can buy on eBay without giving them a penny. There's tons of books and comics that you can get on eBay without giving Disney a penny that you can enjoy without giving them anything. All that stuff that they, you know, there's Dark Horse comics up the wazoo that you can read that would take you years to get through, and that you'd enjoy the hell out of them because they're pretty damn good. So thanks, Ken Jack Ben, for asking that question. Props, man. And Christian Basil, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. And that is brilliant. You're on iHeartRadio. I'm seriously impressed. The Big Red Bear, Canadian $5. I kid you not. Constantly inundated with propaganda as much like the USSR. Everything was about ideology. It's lame. I hate being surrounded by it. It's funny that you bring that up because I had that conversation with somebody at the wedding party. Somebody at the wedding party who lived in communist Russia, grew up in communist Russia, and got the hell out of communist Russia. And she said she recognizes a lot of similar things. Now, it is nowhere near as bad as they had it. I mean, I didn't have an idea how bad they had it. Like, it was bad. And just to tell you how you want to talk about a strong woman, I'm not going to name her, but she's a friend of the family. So she escaped communist Russia with her daughter when she was in her early 20s. She was in Italy without knowing the language. She sold trinkets and baked goods on the street, basically in the hood of Italy, got out of there, got to America, and now she owns houses in San Francisco. She was able to pay for a castle in Italy. Yeah, that's a strong woman. Okay, not Brie Larson. Not Brie Larson. So and yeah, like, she has got a story to tell. I wish she had a platform to just tell her personal story because it's fucking awesome. Echo Base Network, $4.99. Nicholas Glenn here. Oh, Nicholas Glenn. We love Nicholas Glenn. Having Doomcock on tonight at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Won't be live, but will be edited and posted later. Please keep an eye on the Echo Base Network. Again, if I can trouble one of my wrenches to put the Echo Base Network in the here, Nicholas Glenn. Hang on a second. Give me just a mo. I'll give you a wrench and then you can do it. How's that sound? Nicholas Glenn is awesome in every way. A great member of the Fandom Menace, a great member here, supporter of Doomcock and I for a long time. And now I can't find your freaking thing. This sucks. Oh, here, I can do it right here. Boom. Okay, there you go. Echo Base is now a mod on this channel, and you can post your links. Please do that, and I fully support Doomcock. Please go take a listen at 9:30 p.m. Central. I'll be listening. Thank you, Echo Base Network and Nicholas Glenn. $1.99 JS. Who is worse, Ray, Captain Marvel, Michael B, or Doctor Who? Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham is the worst right now. Michael Burnham is absolutely the worst. Doctor Who is a close second, but if Doctor Who season 12 is anything like season 11, then I will go right back to saying Doctor Who is worse. No, I scratch that. Doctor Who's worse. Here's why Doctor Who's worse. Michael Burnham and Jodie have done pretty much equal damage to their franchises, but Star Trek can survive Star Trek Discovery because people can just forget it exists. They could call it canon all they want. With Doctor Who, Jodie is in the canon now. There is no taking that out, and it's going to be very hard to pretend it doesn't exist, although in my head canon, she doesn't. Both injected intersectional feminism into the franchise, into a franchise that was built by you know what? I'll say a male audience back in the day, but both Star Trek and Doctor Who had a very high percentage of a female audience. I know more women who are in the Star Trek than Star Wars by far. My wife is a bigger Star Trek fan than I am. She is a ginormous Star Trek fan. My wife is a Trekker or a Trekkie, whatever, you know. I am a big Star Trek fan, but I'm a Whovian if I have to pick anything. So yeah, I go back and forth on that, man. It's bad. Captain Marvel, it remains to be seen. But man, one movie did a lot of damage. And Ray, it's more Ray's a Mary Sue but she's like I've said in my video, she's a blank wall. I mean, like it's the whole picture in Star Wars. It's Kylo, it's everything. Admiral Holdo, how they wrote Princess Leia in The Last Jedi was annoying too, and that's one of the original characters. So God, Star Wars, there is no hope in Star Wars. I'm gonna read these 2 super chats, then we're gonna read the Russell T Davies article together. Elliot Nelson, $10. I'd be happily watching. I've been happily watching you for almost 1 year now. It seems like it's the same old news. Do you see a silver lining in all of this? Do you think things are changing? Am I just being impatient? Elliot, you're not being impatient. It's gone on too goddamn long, but yes, change is in the wind. I've talked about this before. These things go through cycles, and we are at the very end of the cycle with the whole SJW nonsense. There is more and more people rising up against it. The thing is, unfortunately, with cycles, they peak at the end. So it's going to seem like we just completely lost over the next 6 to 8 months. But the results will fully be in by then. You know, Star Trek, it takes about 2 years to creatively turn things around. Comic books, TV shows, no different. It takes about 2 years to produce these things. So Star Trek Discovery came out with season 1. It had the backlash, but of course they were going to give it a season 2 because it was on a streaming service. And then they did the same damn thing for season 3. Well, I'm about to do a video of I think there is a chance we won't get a season 3. There is a possibility. It all depends on a couple of things. Now, Doomcock has reported on one of them. And go check out his video. But thank you, Elliot. No, you're not being impatient at all. And it is the same old goddamn thing. And that's why I didn't want to talk about this stuff at first. I didn't. I just wanted to talk about plots of shows and speculating. That's my favorite thing to do. Like Mr. Robot, that's the kind of show I love because there's so many twists and turns that we can talk about it. But by the time that comes back, that'll probably be fully woke as well, for Christ's sake. I don't know. I don't even know what to expect anymore. But I like talking about shows and speculating about, well, let's just go back to the early seasons of Game of Thrones when we didn't know what was going to go on and twists and turns. And even book readers, they made changes and we speculated and we had theories. And that's one of my favorite things about A Song of Ice and Fire is I go on the forums. I waste a lot of time on A Song of Ice and Fire forums reading ridiculous theories because I love that stuff. That's what I'd rather be talking about. Would it bring as many clicks? I don't know. But that's what I enjoy. I enjoy talking to you guys and getting this stuff off my chest. But it's got to end someday, Elliot. It does. Or we just need to give up on it. That's the only other alternative. And that's what Ken Jack Ben was talking about, Big Red Bear. And that, I guess, a boycott could be just saying, F it, goodbye. I'm there with Star Wars. I've been there with Star Wars. It's funny. Somebody asked me for my review of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, it's on the channel. You got to dig it up. I forgot I didn't have a beard. I was like, "Ooh, boy, don't unsub." Babyface Gary there. Thank you, Elliot. Great question. Rebecca Gold, £5 at Nerdrotic. Quickly look at your Facebook page. I posted a new Star Wars trailer, 30 seconds long. You really loves what happened. You would really love what happens to Rey. I will attempt it. Is it on the Facebook page? Okay, give me a second. I'll do that while I'm getting the Russell T Davies article set up. Thank you, Rebecca Gold. Derek Raju for $2. Can anyone or anything save the MCU? Yes, Derek. Yes. Captain Marvel being a one-off and them just being a goddamn superhero movies again. That's it. Now, what did I hear last night on the High Council? Star Wars and the MCU are connected by Disney, of course. I heard that there's speculation that the Return of the Emperor might be a big Orange Man allegory. If that's the case, then it'll be very easy to boycott Star Wars at that point. It'd just be really easy. And I would say we could probably do more damage by just ghosting it completely at that point. Because I mean, what else would there be to say? I mean, like you got to be kidding me on that. But knowing Hollywood, I wasn't. God, I wish I was at Celebration, but I heard they got a little political or a little PC in the panel. I've got. I'm going to watch them. I know some of them are on YouTube. But yeah, it can be saved by Kevin Feige coming back to his senses. I don't understand that these decisions are so un-Kevin Feige-like unless he's been waiting and he just feels like he can do what he wants now because he's pretty much God. And who's to argue with him? Captain Marvel made $1 billion, but the normies are not anything you want to rely on. Okay, you need them, but you can't rely on them. They're fickle. They're fickle as hell. That's why it's important to have a hardcore audience. We're the ones that shepherd and steward the normies into this stuff. Oh, God, I've gone over that a million times. Alex Saunders, $2. Not seeing Captain Marvel until Endgame comes out to enjoy Endgame better. Wise decision, Alex. Wise decision. £2. Yeah, if it wasn't for the channel, I don't know if I'd have seen Captain Marvel. If I didn't have a channel, I probably would have skipped it and just saved myself the headache. Okay. I am going to both get the RTD article going now, and then I'm going to look at that thing Rebecca told me about. So we go to Doctor Who News. There it is right there. I don't see. I'm going to read between the lines for you because I have a lot of theories on why RTD left. Now, if somebody knows something in the chat, or hey, I am currently in need of another Doctor Who insider. I have one, but I don't hear from this person very much. So if anybody wants to leave me anonymous information and can, Gary at nerdrotic.com. I got Star Trek insiders. And I even got a Disney streaming service insider that we need to talk about. That we do need to talk about. Don't let me forget to talk about. Hang on. Let me get to my Facebook real quick. And this will be a good chance to plug my Facebook page. I don't do a ton of stuff on there. There will be, oh man, I hate it when they do that. They do the 9 years ago, and then they show you a picture of your kid when he was all little and cute. Look at him. I can't show him, but oh man, I can't do that right now. Look at how little he was with his little Spider-Man ice cream. Well, he's so young, you guys probably wouldn't recognize him now. Here, I'll show you. How freaking cute he was, man. This is a big no-no, but he's young. He doesn't look much like this anymore, so hopefully Mrs. Nerdrotic won't kill me. Screen share. I hate teasing my audience. Look at that little bugger. Sorry, I'm boring you with picture of my kids with his little Spider-Man ice cream and his Nightmare Before Christmas shirt. Oh, those were the days 9 years ago, for frack's sake. Okay, let's get to the page. Oh, wow. Holy crap. I haven't been paying attention. We got like 900 likes on the page now. So is it on the page, Rebecca Gold? Because I can't spend a ton of time looking for it. Or is it on the group? I don't see it. I'll look for it later. We got to get to the article now. People have been waiting patiently enough. So let's get to RTD, and I'll take another look later. It's hard to look stuff up on a live stream. I know a lot of people like, hey, check out the DMs and stuff, and I greatly appreciate it. When I get my new system set up, it'll be a lot easier. Right now, I'm all working off of one computer, but that's going to change in the next couple of live streams. Also, P.O. Box. So starting this Friday, I'm going to have a little segment towards the end of each live stream where I do P.O. Box, where I show you guys what I got in my P.O. Box. I've gotten some like amazing stuff, and I need to give people their proper credit. Also, PayPal donations. I need to acknowledge some PayPal donations a little later as well. So Russell T Davies won't return to Doctor Who even for an anniversary special. However, the former showrunner's new BBC One series will be traveling to the future. So before I even get into the article, why? I mean, I respect the hell out of him for not coming back. It cements his legacy as arguably the greatest showrunner Doctor Who has ever seen. That's arguable. I'm sure there's others that were, Douglas Adams was part of that. I mean, I don't know how of a competent showrunner he was, but Douglas Adams, it's Douglas freaking Adams. So, but I'll say one of the greatest showrunners Doctor Who has ever seen. He is responsible for the Return of Who, and quite frankly, later Who, even most of Stephen Moffat, was popular because of the Russell T Davies eras. I think a lot of people watched Matt Smith hoping to see a return of that magic, and it was magic. He had a couple of stinker episodes, but most of it was rock solid. I could rewatch it over and over and over again. I loved his writing. Yeah, it was just, I miss RTD. And this sucks to hear, even for an anniversary special. You got to wonder what's behind that. It's now been over 14 years since Doctor Who made its big 21st century comeback, when showrunner Russell T Davies successfully established a new era for the Time Lord. However, despite earning God/Doctor-like status among Whovians after his 5 years helming the BBC show, Davies has vowed not to write another episode. Speaking about a possible return to Who at the BFI Radio Times Television Festival, Davies told us a comeback will never be in the cards, even if he had the opportunity to write a special Who 60th anniversary episode. It'd be like coming back to a job I did 10 years ago. Wouldn't it? Who would do that? A lot of people. And I think a lot of people would love to have you back. Seems like Davies' views haven't shifted since he penned the novelization of episode Rose. Speaking then, he said, "Really think about it. Go back to the job you had 13 years ago, or go back to an old school. Walk in, say hello, take your old seat, and start giving instructions. Watch everyone's faces shortly before they call the police. Move on. And besides, why look back? The future is golden." I got to respect that. I got to respect the hell out of that. Although he won't be returning to Who, Davies' upcoming TV project, Years and Years, will be another time-jumping drama, but won't include a TARDIS. Instead, the 6-part series starring Emma Thompson will follow one family, the Lyons, from Manchester through events of a near and dangerous future. Everything you need to know about Russell T Davies series 10 years ago. It was great. That's everything you need to know. It jumps 5 years ahead in the first episode, blah, blah, blah. The world has gone madder in the past few years. Oh, yeah. And there we go. Brexit, Trump, blah, blah. Orange man, bad. Okay. Sorry. So it sounds to me like his experience, particularly on Doctor Who. Wow. I'll relate it to me returning to the comic shop. It is something I've always thought I wanted to do, but I can relate to him. It's like there's no way to capture that magic again. It doesn't feel like moving forward. And I'll relate it to another personal experience. When I sold my comic shop and of course had my relapse, I had to go work in an industry I hadn't worked in 10 years. I went back and worked in the audio industry and had to kind of scrape and crawl and get my life back together, and which has led me here, which is great, which is honestly arguably better than the comic shop. And it sucked. Every minute of it sucked. But I was grateful to do it. I was grateful to have a skill, to have a job, that make pretty decent pay. But I was still like really frustrated. I was probably really frustrating to work with because, for one, there was no challenge in it. I had done it for so long. I could do that job in my sleep, and I practically did, because I was doing this YouTube hobby, and I was doing a lot of other things on the side. So I would just go to work, put in work, and come back home, and it sucked. It wasn't fun at all. And you know what? Not every job is supposed to be fun, and we should be grateful we have jobs, to be honest with you. So I tried to stay in a grateful place, but it was hard. I'm human. So I can see why he wouldn't want to come back. It sucks not even to do an anniversary special. I hope he changes his mind. I really do, but I can respect that decision. But that really cements the fact, folks, ladies and gentlemen, Doctor Who's done. It's done. Unless they decided, the BBC decided to take their biggest franchise now that Top Gear is, I don't know if it's there or not again, but it's not what it used to be, the biggest show in the world. But it had Doctor Who, and like this or not, if you would have cast a Richard Madden or that redheaded guy from Love Actually that they were talking about, or Idris Elba, the ratings wouldn't have dipped 30% by the end of the season. Of course, you would have had to have brought in a better writer. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think, this is just my opinion, I don't think Chibnall was their first choice. And I don't know if anybody wants to do it because of the politics surrounding what this show. And that's probably why Russell T Davies doesn't want to come back. There's so much inner political drama bullshit that goes on at the BBC that I've heard about that led to Eccleston leaving, that frustrated everybody. Even Chibnall's frustrated. Have you heard a single denial about them leaving? And this wasn't a YouTuber making this up. This was Starburst Magazine coming out with it. Okay. And they have not denied that yet. And I still believe Chibnall for sure is leaving after season 12. I know Thari's reported that there might be a Christmas special this year. My guy said that has not been decided, but he might have heard different. So I haven't seen any news of it. I would certainly report it if I did. But yeah, with Doctor Who, such a disappointment. And we got, when they announced the female doctor, this is the result I knew we would get. I was hoping against hope. I'm not saying I'm Nerdstradamus. A bunch of us knew this was going to happen. Probably most of the fan base, even the ones who enjoy the show or think they enjoy the show. They might have to re-examine like brand loyalty, but Doctor Who, probably is just going to get shut down. It sucks. And it could turn around again. If you would have cast a Richard Madden or an Idris Elba, you would have great ratings. You would be able to sell it internationally. There would be toys being made. There'd be Christmas specials, but Chris Chibnall, the Ryan Johnson of Doctor Who, wanted to subvert everybody's expectations. The reason they took the show off of Christmas is exactly why I said, and so many people gave me shit for that. It's because it's too freaking PC. Okay. They're too PC to have it on a specific religious holiday. And boy, did they regret that decision. Now, Stephen Moffat talked about them losing the slot. They have to compete to get that slot back. Now, I haven't looked into it, but it'd be really easy to look into. All you have to do is look at the show that took Doctor Who's place and check the ratings it got, and compare it to Doctor Who's ratings the previous year. If that show got better ratings, then it's going to be really tough to remove that show for Doctor Who and risk having lower ratings. So that's why it's probably tough to get the position back. I don't think they could just snap their fingers and it happens. And it's, the BBC plays it fair. Well, not fair, but within there. And there's always been frustration towards Doctor Who and Top Gear for sucking up all the money at the BBC by other shows. That's been reported everywhere. Okay, we're going to get back to the super chats here. And then Rebecca Gold, I'll try to find that video one more time. Okay. Justin Doyle, £5. Hey, Gary, how come so many shows are going woke part way through seasons? I know, right? Are people getting replaced that easily? I think they are luring you in. I'm going to be extra extra conspiratorial about that. They are luring you in. They don't want to alienate you. They want to draw you in. But Doom Patrol cranked it up the last 2 episodes. I'm whoa. I'm like, what the hell? Now, the source material did have stuff like that in there. Okay. I read it. I know. But you don't go with everything from the source material. And you went Tu Wong Fu, Julie Newmar, freaking Priscilla, Queen of the Desert in the middle of a superhero show. It's like, oh, okay, whoa. And you know what? And that stuff doesn't truly bother me. I mean, I live in San Francisco. Whatever. It's part of life here. But I don't, DC Universe, as I reported today, it's not official, but it's going down, folks. In my opinion, it's going down. When for one, I can't believe that. Did I miss it? Did it not make bigger news? That's kind of a big deal that WB is reevaluating the whole damn platform, partially because AT&T just bought Warner Brothers and AT&T probably doesn't want to pay for it. And it's not really viable right now. A DC universe could be viable. It absolutely could, but not when you start with Akiva Goldsman's freaking Titans and it was hot trash. Then you should have started with Doom Patrol, but then yeah, I don't know why the things are going woke, and I don't know why they still think they can make money off it. Time after time after time, we are given proof, data that it doesn't fucking work. The only thing it does is piss people off or just turn people off. Not everybody wants to hear about this stuff all the damn time. And, if Doom Patrol just did that episode and nobody else was doing anything like that, wouldn't bother me at all. Once in a while is fine. No problem. Want to show all sides once in a while. I dig it, but we're not showing all sides. We're showing the same thing and everything. And it's because the currency that's going through Hollywood right now is not actual cash. It's social currency. Problem is, social currency ain't going to pay your freaking mortgage, your rent, or your streaming service. Good luck with that. But you're going to look really good on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's going to give you lots of likes. See if that pays the fucking bills. I have reviewed Black Mirror. Mr. Roboto, thank you again, Justin Doyle. Great question. $2. Black Mirror, will you review? Yes, I will review Black Mirror. I reviewed the USS Callister, and I liked it, although later on, I realized it was a big middle finger to Star Trek fans, to old Star Trek fans, and it made me like it a lot less. Bryce Brierly for $20. Wow, thank you. Thank you for the very generous super chat. And I will give Brie one compliment. Give her a butch haircut, and it's just like she walked off the pages of the SJW version of Captain Marvel. I could totally see her running a secret prison in the next movie, right? I can see it happening. Well, did you see my video, Bryce? Or were you alluding to that? My last Captain Marvel video. You might get your wish. Oh, well, you might. I don't know how much I want to say. Watch the video. Please watch the video. There is a spoiler in it. It's a visual spoiler. It's not a plot spoiler for Avengers Endgame. And yeah, I'll just leave it there. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Classic Doctor Who was ethical, not woke. Thank you. Sometimes words can't find mind, brain, Swiss cheese. It was ethical. That's why, Jeremy brought this up at the High Council. I couldn't agree more. Everybody's like, everything's always been political. It's like, not with real world, actual politics. Now, if you want to say being anti-war is political, I guess in some sense, it is, especially in the 60s and 70s. But now I don't, do you know anybody who's pro-war, who's like, man, I want to go bomb a country? Let's just pick one. Can we go bomb? I mean, I don't know anybody personal who's like that, so no, nobody's for it. Now, or a racist. I mean, I honestly don't know one. Can honestly say that. I really honestly don't know one. I've seen them, back when I was a kid, going visiting my relatives, and no, not in the South, in the very North. I heard some of that stuff for sure. They were bigoted because it was the 70s. I'm old. But I didn't hear it all the time. We're talking like I heard it once in a great while. So I don't know anybody like that. So yeah, that's not political. That's moral. That's moral. When you use Hillary Clinton's campaign slogan in your second episode of your TV show purposely, when it was when they inserted that, well, it wasn't her campaign slogan, it was her book. The name of her book, Stronger Together. And yeah, they had to weave that in within the first 5 minutes of the episode. Yeah, that's getting real world politics, and I don't want that in there for either side. That'd be just like the doctor sitting down, like, and like make, and I can't remember the exact line, but they said Stronger Together, and it was just so out of place and obvious. And it would be the same thing if she went Art of the Deal, It's just dumb. Just dumb. Josiah Rises just came out with a video. That's good. My boy Josiah. All right. So did I tell you guys I talked to Bowles Trek? I think I might have mentioned that. I talked to Bowles Trek, and we're shooting for, I'll just say it. We're shooting for Saturday. Okay. Don't know what time yet. I guess it's kind of up to me. Both of us have kind of free Saturdays, so I think it'll probably happen. I don't know what channel it'll be on, but I would certainly be on his. He could certainly come on mine. And I have never personally talked with him, but I love his work. I have a feeling he and I are going to get along just fine. Rome hater. I'm okay with Chris Chibnall. You're fired. Yes. Yes. I would be too. Brie Larson seems to be intensifying her lame activism, and Feige and Marvel seem perfectly fine with it. Shokin, because they are. They've signed off on it. And Kevin Feige, in a very roundabout way, said as much when he was talking about Chris Evans' activism, which, listen, I would have done a video if I wasn't traveling. I would have done a video because I want to keep it fair. And he popped off a couple weeks ago, and he shouldn't have. And what he said is Kevin Feige's like, I love what you do on Twitter. That was a quote from Kevin Feige from Chris Evans. Now, it could be just being a Hollywood producer and telling him what he wants to hear, which I would say is probably closer to the truth. This Hollywood producer speak. I just saw Stanley. Afternoon, Scarecrow 2311. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's good to be back, like regular live streaming. I gotta say that. I'm getting over to the group because maybe Rebecca Gold posted in there. That's funny. Tony Armstrong and his his Avengers spoiler. It's an actual spoiler from a car. Oh wow! Look at the Star Wars clearance there. Oh boy, Brie. Lawrence Crimmins, the Empire is always pro-war. People, not so much. Yeah, you're right. What's up, Cato? How's it going, man? Wes Chathman as the Doctor. Hell yeah, bionic belly button. Wes Chathman as Captain America. I think he'd be a great Captain America. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, well, let me show you. He is Amos Burton. on the Great Expanse. This guy right here, this handsome devil. So Wes used to be an actual military dude, and they picked him up as an extra in some Denzel Washington flick, and he's turned it into a career. He's pretty big and yoked up, and yeah, he looks like an all-American boy right there, and I think that'd be a good Cap. Yeah, I think you should recast Cap someday. I don't think Chris Evans owns the role. But they won't, or they will probably, in like 10 years, they'll probably like redo the whole thing. Phoenix Might, hello, welcome. Jorah 123, what's up? Rebecca Gold, I sent the trailer as a message and a comment, and okay, gotcha. It's just hard to pull this stuff up sometimes. Oh, it must be in the page. Yeah, those are. There we go. I'm in my inbox now. I'm watching it. Okay. I'll show it if I can. Hang on. I got to find a way to like show it without oh, there it is. Hang on. That I could certainly get behind this, folks. All right, here is the Rise of Skywalker trailer. Oh boy, I don't want any sound. Yes. Oh, that's great. Oh, wonderful. Captain No Major Nerdrotic. Did I call you Major? Oh, that's funny. Captain. That's right. They blowed up Ray. I guess she wasn't a Mary Sue after all. Do you think you will break 1,000 viewing? I don't know how many. Like, they don't show me the damn numbers anymore. That'd be great. That'd be brilliant. That means people still like my channel. I'll be honest with you. You take a big long vacation. This is why YouTube burnout. I understand why it's a thing. I'm nowhere near getting there, but you can't take vacations without worrying. Yeah. We got 898. That's cool. I'm thankful for that. But if we had 1,000, I would need to. I don't know. Maybe I need to do something better with my titling. Philomax for Australian $2.99. Do you think? Oh, by the way, do you think you'll break 1,000 viewing? You guys being here is enough. That is enough. It really is. But if more are welcome. You are welcome. Please. It would help. Standing ovation, says Moods of Madness, right? Yes, good, says Bear. It would help if I was on time with one of my nooners, but today I was getting my business stuff all together. Buona Beast as the next Captain America, Stephen Levant. That'd be awesome. How many people know that character now from Batman Brave and the Bold? Hollywood will cast an old Chinese lady as the new Captain America. Yeah, Gary North, whoever played Madame Gao in Daredevil will be Captain America next. You're right. I used no, you're better. You're better. The Lethal Diva. No, I agree with you. The guy who played Luther on Umbrella Academy, who was in the 11th Hour, Doctor Who 11th Hour. Remember, Matt Smith told him to clear his history. He would actually make a good Superman. I think he would make a good Superman. I think he would make a better Superman than Henry Cavill, because there's something I don't know. There's something with maybe just because I know Henry Cavill's kind of it's been reported he's not the nicest dude in the world. I don't know that for a fact. And I do consider who reported that, by the way, who was Grace Randolph. Stephen Levant, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Any updates about the Bond as per tagline? Philomax, great question. Let's get to that right now. Let's get to woke ass James Bond because it's freaking toast. You can consider it done. If Phoebe is writing it. So, and listen, I'm a huge Bond fan. I am right there with Jeff at World Class Bullshitters. It's one of the greatest franchises ever. Now, I am a Roger Moore guy because that's where I grew up. All right. I know they're the silly ones, but they're the ones I love. I love Moonraker. Live and Let Die is my favorite Bond movie. And yes, I even like Man with the Golden Gun. Hang on. New writer for Bond. But there is Phoebe Waller-Bridge to work on a new Bond. Brought on to add humor, but more progressive tones as well. Yeah, I'm just going to pick an article from any shill journalism. Yeah. So they wanted to have a female writer to virtue signal. Listen, women can write Bond. No problem. No problem as long as they write them as Bond. But here's the problem. If you have I believe this will be is this the first female writer for Bond? I don't know this for a fact, but let's just say it is. If the first female writer comes on for Bond and then they make Bond all woke, that doesn't help female writers. You know what would help? If a female writer came on James Bond and you couldn't tell. It was a great James Bond movie, and then you went, oh, that's cool. A woman wrote it. Couldn't tell. But if you make it all woke, then people are going to go, well, yeah, because a woman wrote it. And then you perpetuate the stereotype, you dumbasses. So hopefully that doesn't happen because it truly does have a great director. Cary, I can never say his last name. Cary Fukunaga, all right, who did the first season and the brilliant, perfect first season of True Detective, who also did Maniac, which I mostly enjoyed. I thought it was pretty damn good. He is a visionary and he's a homeboy too. He's from Oakland. There you go. Oakland, right across the bay. And a damn good director. And I think he will do, as a matter of fact, I think he would do a better job than Danny Boyle directing. He's like an up and coming rising effing star of a director. Guy is so damn good. He's visual. He's cool. Script by James Bond writer Neil Purvis and Robert Waid with additional rewrites by Scott Z. Burns. So what's she doing? Waller-Bridge is also, okay, so writer and performer Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who wrapped up the New York premiere of her hit solo Fleabag April 14th, has been recruited to work on the script for the upcoming James Bond film, according to The Guardian, currently known as Bond 25. In lieu of the yet announced title, the movie is being released in 2020. Waller-Bridge was brought on the project at the request of Daniel Craig. Helmed by Cary Joji Fukunaga, who replaced original director Danny Boyle, Bond 25 will feature a script by Neil Purvis, which is great, Robert Waid, and additional screenwriters. So this is going to be a screen. Okay. All right. So now I have more context for this. She's probably brought in to work on to make it a little more progressive, we'll say, because Bond is the embodiment of masculinity. We can't have that these days. I'm surprised they're even making another Bond film, to be honest with you. We should be kind of grateful we're getting that. Well, of course, we'll have to see what's going to happen, but having L337 come on does not excite me. Otherwise, I was completely excited about this movie. Daniel Craig has been hit and miss for me, but Casino Royale, I gotta say, is probably my it's in the top 3 favorite Bond films completely. I freaking love that movie. So, but Bond hasn't felt like Bond. Listen, I even like the Pierce Bronson Bonds. I do. I do. I love GoldenEye. I mean, I love them. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, are you going to be surprised if it goes woke? No, no. I'm not sure they're lucky there with another Bond movie. I know most of us would rather the last 2 Star Wars movies had never been made. Yep. I mean, that's a great point, DJ McCullough. If given the option, would you rather have no Star Wars or the current Star Wars? The answer is no. And I say that for Doctor Who and Star Trek. I would rather read comic adaptations, and listen to Big Finish for Doctor Who than watch Doctor Who. I would rather go and catch up on some Star Trek books that I didn't read than watch any current Star Trek. And guess what? That's what we're going to be doing anyway, because it's happening, folks. The franchises as they stand right now are not going to last. So they can have their fans. You can say what you want. The reality of the situation is nobody's buying Star Trek. Nobody wants to license Star Trek. And you can't tell me that anybody wants to license this Doctor Who. And if they do, they're foolish. You can probably fool somebody for the first year before you put an actual product out. But when these licensees, I don't know how it works in the UK, but with Star Trek, when these licensees come up to your franchise, guess what they get access to? Actual numbers, real numbers. They're not going to give you money unless they know that. So they probably, these licensees got a good look at how many people actually watch Star Trek. And that's why they can't sell it, because they're like, well, why would we want to sell anything to 300,000 people? Which is the word on the street on like a good episode of Star Trek Discovery gets about 300,000. Which is like a bad cable show. Well, not a bad, that's probably like a good, it's still bad ratings on Sci-Fi on Saturday at 10 o'clock. And that's a good episode, by the way. That's the higher range. I've heard the lower range is much lower than that. So, yeah. And CBS All Access it is in trouble. It's in big trouble. So I heard from my second source, who backed up something my first source said. That's what I was waiting on to do a video. Not that I don't trust my first source. I do. He's a very nice person. He might even be in the chat. 300,000 is more than they deserve. Damn right. Damn right. Znurg. Is it Zagurge? Zagurge. Oh my God. How am I supposed to say this? I'm going to try though. Here, let's give it a shot. Znagurge Pizabuff. Austin Woods, what's up, man? That's about the amazing Lucas gets on YouTube, right? That's what PewDiePie gets in the first 20 minutes of a video. Hell, I have videos over 300,000 views. A couple. No, I have one. Let's be honest. I have one video over 300,000 views. Crap. Hang on a second. I didn't mean to do that. I just closed out the damn chat, which means, oh, you're still going. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. So what else do we need to get to? Oh, Mark Waid. Mark effing Waid. Let's do that right now. We're going to go to our friends in Bounding Into Comics. Bounding Into Comics, who had the balls to print spoilers yesterday. And I was like, I saw that article. I'm all, guys, don't. They had to take them down, but not before most of us screenshotted them. Come on. How many of you screenshotted them? Raise your hand. I did. Yeah, I don't want to discuss any of the spoilers here. I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody. I don't. I actually didn't read the plot spoilers, but I saw all the pictures, and yeah, And just to let you know, Amazon drops uncensored spank trailer for The Boys. Oh wait, we got to talk about that. Okay, so The Boys. And I'll be honest with you, I've got a tough time with this one. Okay, so The Boys is a comic series by my friend Derek Robertson. It's great. It's great. And, you know, I'm not saying that just because I'm in it, but it's really great. The problem with it is it's the deconstruction of the superhero again in a time where I think some of you might be tired of that, might be tired of the bitter, cynical anti-superhero thing. And I'm a big proponent of the reconstruction of the hero and the hero's journey, male or female. That being said, The Boys is pretty funny. It's pretty dark. And apparently there's a new trailer out. So go check it out. I can't show it here. I'll show you what it looks like though. And I don't think I'll be in, I was only in a few panels in the comic book because my buddy Derek drew me in the comic, delivering some weapons in issue. God, how am I really forgetting the issue number? Issue 23. So I'm in the first couple pages of the 4th volume of the trade. There we go. So Amazon drops uncensored Spake trailer for The Boys. Amazon dropped an uncensored Spake teaser trailer for their upcoming show, The Boys, starring Carl Urban and Garth Ennis. Here, I'll just show it to you without sound. How's that sound? I don't know if that'll work. It'd be kind of boring. Oh, that's pretty cool. Carl Urban as the Butcher is great casting. Oh shit. Yeah, I can't show this. Fucking A. That was uncensored. Damn. Glad I got that off quick. That was gross. Sorry about that. Close your eyes. Let's go back to bounding into comics, and I'm sure Mark Waid will be much better than that. Adding into comics. Hey, it's live. I should have known. I should have known better. It said uncensored. I didn't believe him. Okay, here we go. We're all adults. Ooh, Gal Gadot. Look at that. I keep seeing, I got the ADHD. I'm like looking at Wonder Woman. We'll look at that next. Let's get to Mark Waid. I'll make sure there's no uncensored video there. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble. There we go. Okay, Mark Waid. Mark Waid doubles down, states he believes Richard Meyer subscribes to white supremacist principles. I don't know what this article said. I saw the headline. I wanted to share it with you. When somebody says that about somebody nowadays and with no evidence to prove it, I could say right now that I subscribe to your boy Zach, have for years now, a couple years. I wouldn't subscribe to somebody like that. And none of you would either. And I'm sure many of you either subscribe or know about him. And not everybody likes Zach, and that's fine. Not everybody likes me. It's fine. But yeah, he's not. And I mean, I know I'm stating the obvious here, but this is the kind of stuff I think there should be repercussions for. You know, listen, there is free speech, but when it gets like that, well, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, if it were my world, I would just, I would give Richard a free shot at his face. Like, you get to smack somebody who says something like that about you. Maybe not like suing them, but, you know, just like Old West kind of rules. I mean, not shooting them or anything, but maybe a good smack. Open hand smack across the face. Last year, YouTuber and Jawbreakers creator Richard C. Meyer launched a civil lawsuit against comic book writer, quote unquote, Mark Waid. The case was filed on the 19th of September in the United States District Court of Austin, Texas. Waid was sued for tortious interference with contract and defamation. For all legal views, please go to Rucata Law. The suit was filed after Antarctic Press announced they would no longer be publishing Jawbreakers following Meyer's successful Indiegogo for the book. A book that I backed, by the way. The suit alleged Waid defamed Meyer. Waid intentionally, well, he sure as hell just did there. Waid intentionally published statements of fact to his followers and the general public regarding Meyer, including falsely stating that Meyer published the first and last names of comic book store employees to encourage owners to harass and threaten them. Not true. As well as characterizing Meyer as a racist, serial harasser of minorities, and as affiliated with white supremacists. Those states I think those statements were false and were published with actual knowledge of or reckless disregard for statements falsity. In a recently released court transcript, Mark Waid is doubling down on his stance that Meyer's principles are associated with those of white supremacists. The deposition was filmed back in February. In an exchange between Mark Waid and the attorney representing Richard Meyer, Mr. Byrne, Waid is asked if he ever uncovered any direct evidence of white supremacy on the part statements on the part of Mr. Meyer. After an objection, Byrne would ask a similar question, to which Waid would respond. Mr. Byrne, do you have any basis to substantiate a contention that Mr. Meyer is a white supremacist? Mr. Pierce, object to form. Miss Mark Waid, I would say in the materials I provided to the court in various social media posts and how, it's not a, oh, this is great. The one about the, it's not what a sideshow or a circus, whatever, when you hire black people for comics. What? I'm going to read that again. Okay. Mark Waid, I would say in the materials I provided to the court in various social media posts about now, and this is where he starts, it's not a, the one about the, it's not what a sideshow or circus, whatever, when you hire black people for comics, that sort of thing, that's in there. Yeah, absolutely. At least indicted a propensity towards what we refer to as white supremacy these days. It's pretty broad spectrum. What? I saw Rucata talking about this too, and I agree with them. That's not a broad spectrum. That's pretty cut and dry. You either think a certain race is superior or you don't. I don't think there's like moderate white supremacists out there. There might be one or two, but there's a crazy person everywhere. But I don't think there's a moderate white supremacists. Mr. Byrne, do you have any documentation or any evidence of Mr. Meyer directly espousing white supremacist doctrines? Or are you inferring from the materials you submitted to the court that he must think that way? Mark Waid, are you asking, is there a specific moment when I am aware of, he said, I am a white supremacist? Mr. Byrne, or espoused principles you associated with white supremacy? I associate? Absolutely. Again, I stepped on you. I apologize. Absolutely was his answer. In the deposition, Waid is affirmed that he believes Richard Meyer espouses principles he associates with white supremacy. What do you think of Mark Waid doubling down and claiming that at the very least, he believes Richard Meyer associates himself with white supremacist principles? Do you think he has something up his sleeve that could cast doubt on the defamation case? Let me know your thoughts. And I'd like to hear yours too. So that was written by our good friend, George Arenas over at Bounding into Comics. Well done, my friend. Wow, what a nut. In my opinion. Listen, this thing has certainly gone way past, I think, what I don't think Mark Waid thought he'd be getting sued. And it can't be easy for Richard to be going through this right now. I've only exchanged emails with your boy Zach. But yeah, this can't be easy. Going through this crap, trying to produce a comic. And honestly, he's just making videos, folks. He's making videos. He made some headway. He threatened a lot of people. And this is what happens when people get threatened. They start acting out of fear and insanity. And Mark Waid is afraid. He's afraid that his time is over in the comic industry, and he is hastening his own end in the comic industry. If he just shut up, he'd probably be fine. If he just shut up and wrote some comic books, but he can't. He can't, because for so long, in my opinion, Mark Waid was able to get away with bullying people and using his celebrity status as a comic book writer. And there's a bunch of sycophants in that industry. Okay, there is. Richard knows this. EVS knows this. I know this. There's a bunch of like really weird minor Z-less celebrity hero worship in this industry that probably overinflated a bunch of egos. Well, not probably, did overinflate a bunch of egos. Okay. While it's brilliant being a comic book writer, and I hate to say privilege, it's something you work your ass off for. Why would you F it up by being this way? Now, Mark Waid is a creative. All creatives, we're different. We're different people, and I understand that. And Mark has every right to say what he wants to say, but there has to be repercussions, especially when, listen, he knows he's lying there. In my opinion, he's absolutely lying. He knows Richard is not a white supremacist, but he's going to push that freaking narrative, because that's the narrative that the anti-Comicsgate people have been trying to push forever, because that's the only argument they have against people just wanting comics to be fun again. Now there are some comics that are being made that are right-wing politically. That is a reaction to what is going on. And believe me, they have every right to make them on their own, and they're doing it and they're making money, and that's great. But that's a reaction to what's going on in mainstream comics. Yeah, it's frustrating. I didn't talk up sooner. I was like always on the peripheral with Comicsgate. And listen, I don't know if anybody will listen to me anyway. And there was great voices out there anyway. There was Englentine at Isle of Comics. There was Captain Cummings when he was doing that. Doug Ernst, he's still doing it. Doug Ernst is like the one guy who hasn't changed his tune at all. He's great. EVS, AVS brought it to the next level. And it's been really interesting to watch, and sad because, and not on EVS's or the Indiegogo side. I think that's great. But what's watching my fellow retailers, because I didn't hear a lot of retail Feisty fans out there, and she was a voice for retailers, and still is, but there wasn't a real voice for retailers, and retailers were the ones we didn't hear from throughout this entire kerfuffle, and we needed to hear from them. And they were silent because some of them didn't want to get involved. Some of them didn't know how to get involved. Some of them weren't aware of it. And most of them were on the side of the creatives. And they needed to be on the side of the fans, in my opinion. That's where retailers should live. Unfortunately, again, there's that Z-list celebrity thing. And that, there's certain retailers who fall under that category as well. They're really well known within the industry, but it is, oh my God, you hear the term gatekeeper. It is one of the most insular industries I've ever seen. I've been a part of many industries, blue collar, creative. I've had the privilege of working in all of them. And yeah, the comic business is nasty. It's nasty business. That's probably another reason why Russell T Davies doesn't want to go back to circle that back to Doctor Who, is like, it does kill your enjoyment of the thing you love a little bit. Now, retailing didn't do that. It came close, but it didn't kill my enjoyment of comic books, thankfully. But your boy Zach, I hope he wins. I think it's important for fans, and I'm going to get to the chat now. Sorry, I've been on a soapbox for a while here, but I think it's really important for Zach to win, because that would be a win for the fans, honestly. And we don't have a bunch of those right now. We have progress, but we don't have a lot of wins. Doesn't mean we should stop, but unfortunately, you know how I think, I mean, like, God, this sounds super dire. I think how a lot of this ends is we lose the thing we love, which means we ultimately lose, because a lot of us are fighting to keep the things we love fun. But the problem is when they get too big like this, when something gets too big, it gets almost too big to succeed, because so many people want to put their fingers in the pie, and politics get involved. And well, we got what we got. Let's go back up here. G-Spot, the G-Spot. Thank you for the $1 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. You can ask a question in the chat. Hit at Nerdrotic. Tharies, our good friend Tharies, for £2. All the anti-Series 11 YouTubers should cross over. I agree. Let's maybe we should work on that. What do you think? Maybe we should do like a kind of like the High Council. I can talk. We should do like a Doctor Who High Council thing. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. Would you guys watch that? Listen to that? Tharies, email me at gary@nerdrotic.com. And I'll talk to Bowles Trek about it. And there's others out there, believe me. You know what I want to get? I'm just going to announce, I'm going to put everybody on the spot right now. Can I do that? Can I put everybody on the spot? Let's do it. I want Doomcock, Midnight's Edge, including Andre. And I know Mecca has got a GoFundMe to go to Star Trek. I want all the Star Trek. I want Anti-Trekker. I want all the Star Trek YouTubers who have been against Star Trek Discovery to go to Vegas. Come on. It'll just be fun. I think that'd be cool. I want we'll get Doomcock a portable mask that he can go outside and, yeah. And yeah, support Mecca's GoFundMe so she can go. Not everybody's got like I don't have money to go. I shouldn't be going, but I actually need the write-off. So as you know, owning a business, you got to have some write-offs. If you don't have a write-off, then you are cooked come tax time. And once you start, yeah, it's a very low threshold here in California. Once you start making a certain amount of money, you got to start reporting it tax-wise. That's why it's good to protect yourself with that stuff. Thankfully, I've owned a business before. So yeah, Tharies, definitely hit me up. I love that idea. I absolutely adore it. Peter Davis in Australian, $5. Is there life in the Marvel Universe after Endgame? That's the question Disney's asking themselves every day, and they were freaking out until they got James Gunn back, but that delayed their plans. Guardians of the Galaxy was supposed to be kind of the linchpin to carry them through. That's not going to do that now. So now they have, what do they have coming up? Black Panther sequel. They have a Black Panther sequel. Answer this in the chat. Do you think a Black Panther sequel, if it doesn't include a bunch of other superheroes, if it's just the Black Panther cast, do you think it will do half as well as its original? It could. I will answer with it could, but I don't think it will. The problem with the Black Panther film was Black Panther wasn't the most interesting character in his film. Michael B. Jordan was great in that. And I'm forgetting the ladies' names, but the lady, both female actors, which I'm terrible. I'm a sexist pig. Okay. The one from Walking Dead, they were good too. But I'm not sure. The only thing, I mean, like the Black Panther did well on his own because it was a solid movie, and we can't totally make the anticipation to Avengers argument with everything, because then Ant-Man and Wasp would have done better. and it didn't. I mean, it did okay, but it didn't do great. Quantum Hawk for $5. Hi, Gary. Did you see my tweet? Someone randomly guessed the new Star Wars title and Palpatine returning in 2012. Coincidence or Disney Googling for ideas? I didn't see your tweet. I'll go look. Quantum Hawk, I'm sorry about that. I think the latter. Especially when Kathleen Kennedy came out and said that the title's meaningless. Man, she's terrible. I mean, she's not just kind of bad at her job. She is terrible. To say that out loud, to say that something doesn't matter in Star Wars out loud when you are in charge of Star Wars is the single dumbest thing to say. It might be the single dumbest thing that anybody at Disney has ever said. And there's been a lot of dumb things, but to say that something doesn't really have any meaning when you associate it with Star Wars and you are in charge means you really deserve to lose your job. She is ungodly bad, but there is no hope for Star Wars. I was actually going to put that in the title. It's like, folks, I mean, I don't want to, like, Star Wars fans they keep hoping that around the corner, something's good. Just, it's like being lost in the desert. And you're like, just after that hill, man, there'll be some water. It's not coming. You're in Death Valley of fandom. Shokin for £5. Do you think the Mary Sue-ness of Rey is higher than that of Captain Marvel? Wow, that's a tough decision to make. That's like asking me to choose between my kids. Which is actually pretty easy because I like the young one way more and I like the older one. I'm just kidding, Indigo. I love you. I'm going to say it's worse than Captain Marvel because they OP'd her so much, and Rey was bad from the get-go. Oh, man, it's hard because they've both done equal damage to franchise. It's just that Marvel means more to me than Star Wars. That's it. Captain Marvel torpedoed it more because Captain Marvel has torpedoed it in two mediums, in film and in comics. That's why she wins. She wins by losing. Peter Davison for Australian $10. Eyes closed, mate. Eyes closed. We're going to call you Bruce to avoid confusion. Say hello to Mom, Peter. Bless Mom. Give her a little virtual hug for me, okay? A little kiss on the cheek, too. Tell her she looks beautiful today. Jack Random, $5. I'm sorry, was that sexist? I don't care. Jack Random, $5. Waid is a writer. He makes no sense. Explains pretty much all of the current bad scripts and stories out there. STD will hire him when this is all done. Yeah, I think that was practically a job application for STD. Jack Random. Hug Spock, says Peter Davison for Australian $2. The Spock on Star Trek Discovery looks like he could use a hug. But I don't know if I want to hug that Spock. I don't know. I don't hate Ethan Peck. I don't. I think he's done an admirable job. I don't think he looks anything like Spock. I think he looks like cosplay Spock, and that's why they chose to. Well, I think they used the beard. I think it's part of the contract. I'm at this point, there's no reason he should still have the beard. I think it might be part of the contract. That's just me speculating. Demonic Bioman, $2. Again, I need to fix it. I misspelled his name in the Patreon video. My apologies publicly. A little scratch for the new Nerdrotic Inc. IPO. Maybe. I was just talking about Mecca's GoFundMe. So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a GoFundMe. It's in the future. It's way off in the future. The GoFundMe thing is not something would probably use once in my life. And it might have something to do with the comic shop, but that's if it happens. That's as close as the IPO will get. Unfortunately, it's going to be, Mrs. Nerdrotic and I are going to own it. And she's actually going to help out, thankfully. Which, yeah, she's brilliant. She just runs a business, works 12 hours a day and then helps her YouTubing husband. I do a couple things though. The Doctor 14 Blu-ray reviews, £5. I support LGBTQ plus rights because I have a trans uncle who lives in Oakland, California. Cool. I support their rights as well. That's another thing is like, I don't know who doesn't support their rights. They have, I think it's very, say you're a libertarian. It's very libertarian to like live and let live. You kind of let you do you, I'll do me. Here's the only problem I have is when you start telling me what to do. You start telling me what to say or what to do or how to address. I'm going to address people how I address people. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen, but I'm going to address you how now, if you ask nicely, sure, I'll change it. No problem. But for the most parts, yeah, like everybody's got a right to do what the hell they want to do. Just don't let it, don't push it on me and we're cool. But no, I listen, this would be the worst place to live in the world if I didn't support that stuff. Now, the only problem, I'll save that for Nerdrotic Live. I'll bring that up tomorrow. The only problem I had with, I'll just say it here. What the hell? So the first year I was here, I went to the Pride Parade and it was a big celebration. My wife, worked at a hair salon at the time. She owns one now. So duh. And we went down there and it was a hoot. It was pretty fun. It was okay. It's not something I've been to once. I can say I've gone. The only problem I had was who started out the parade. And after I saw that, I wanted to, this is why I left the actual parade. The festivities, this has nothing to do with it's a big party, right? It's just an excuse to party. So you go to the parties. And I went to the parties. Not really a big partier. So I was like, I did this once. But the reason I bolted from the parade was not because of gay people. It was because the parade was led by Mambla. I'm like, what the hell? This doesn't make anybody look good. So they were there and I couldn't believe nobody was throwing like vegetables at them and stuff like that. But yep, they led the parade. So I was like, phew. Now I don't think they're part of it anymore, but this was in 2003. So yeah, I saw that. I saw that and I was out. Peace out. Echo Base Network, $4.99. You should get Robert Burnett to go to. I know he does not line up with you guys 100%, but he does on Trek. I love Robert Burnett, Nicholas Glenn. I don't think he would get near me because he co-hosts a show with John Campea. But I think the guy's great. He's on. I would love to have him on. I don't know if that would get him in trouble. I mean, I don't know if I'm that controversial. I have been critical of John Campea in the past. Not all the time, but I've been critical. But Robert Burnett, his views on Star Trek are spot on, in my opinion. Yeah. So for him to go, I think he might go. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going already, Nicholas Glenn, but I would love to have him as part of the group. Yes. If we could get a group and do a live stream from there, fine. I know the place to do it. I'm friendly with the guy who owns the, let me see. Let me make sure it's still there. Hang on. I'll even bring it up here. Let's hang on. I know I dropped a bomb with the Pride Parade and Mambla marching in it, and I don't want to super get into it, but yeah, that's why I left. I had a huge problem with that. I'm sure for obvious reasons. Millennium Fandom Bar, but back to fandom here. Yeah, still there. Great. Okay, let's look at a picture here. This is where we could have the event. I'm making this thing up as I go, people. Making this thing up as I go. This is the Millennium Fandom Bar. So think sports bar, except it's a nerd bar. It's just past the Stratosphere, and he has viewing parties there. It's run by a French guy. He's brilliant. and I'm friends with them on Facebook, and I am certain I can set up an event here. If you give them a little cheddar, and yeah, I think that'd be a fun place to have it. Don't you think? Let me get to the chat. Maybe you think it's a terrible idea. Hang on, chat. I'm almost there. You guys could be going all sideways about that other stuff I said. Hang on. Yeah, line in the sand, bro. That is a big line in the sand. They should not be allowed to march fucking anywhere. They can have their thoughts, right? You can have your thoughts and you can have your speech. Free speech is free speech, but that's an organization that, yeah, fuck that organization. I don't want to really get into it, but yes, that's my official, that's my official policy on that organization. May it crash and burn in hell. But that has nothing to do with, that was one time marching 15, 16 years ago. We can't let that blanket the whole community or anything like that, because that is not what they're about at all. Trust me. Believe me. Trust me. You guys know that. Fireside chats, $2. Oh, what's the dumbest way STD season 2 could end? Well, whatever it is, Fireside chats, they'll figure it out. The dumbest way it could end is the Discovery and the crew without Spock, even though it looks like he's going to go, he's not going to go, are going to go either in far into the future or a different timeline. And it will timey-wimey erase the memory of anybody who's on the Discovery due to taking it out of the galactic equation. And the only way to keep from control from finding out is if they erase the memory of everybody that had ever existed. And then it goes into its own timeline. I think that could seriously happen. I mean, it'd be dumb, but it's Star Trek Discovery. That is the dumbest way. Well, no, the dumbest way is if it doesn't erase itself from canon and it just goes forward like it is. And then they just go, it's canon. That's our big explanation. We did it. Hey, did you notice there's like no Klingons this season? They talked about that big change for the Klingons. You know, they went ahead, gave them an extra penis, changed the makeup. Arguably, they might have two buttholes. We didn't get confirmation. We didn't get denials or confirmation of two buttholes, but we got two dicks. And then we didn't see them. And then when L'Oreal comes on, she talks like she's got something in her mouth like this, and she's a Klingon Empire and Kalish and time crystals. It's like, what the frack? It's so bad. These people have no pride. They have no pride. Well, they just don't care about you, Star Trek fans. Even those Star Trek fans who love this show. I mean, like, I'm sorry, you're the problem. More than the people who make the show. At least they're getting paid. At least they're getting paid. But people who like this stuff, there's no accounting for taste, I guess. I mean, if you like it, then you got to like it on a level like people like Plan 9 from Outer Space, or people like Laser Blast. Like, it's so bad, I like it. But it's not a good bad. You know, like Con Air. That's the one I cite all the time. Love that movie. Tokyo Gaijin for 600 yen. Michael Burnham is the strongest MS. She survived strongest Mary Sue. She survived genetic unspooling in deep space with a crack suit. Bestest ever. Yes. I forgot it there. You know what? Tokyo Gaijin, so much stuff has happened, or I can't wait because I got to wait till the season's going to be done. I'm actually going to do a breakdown video of everything that's happened to Michael Burnham. It is insane. So I've started work on it. I've got 6 pages of notes on every just single thing that has happened to her in not even 2 full seasons yet. It's like 25 seasons worth of stuff happens to one character and she perseveres. It's so stupid. Ah. And people like that. People give this show 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm speechless on that. I really don't know. All goes Des as Sharon's to Star Trek to Vegas. All goes Des. Dragon Volder X, $2. I'm not understanding that. I'm sorry. I'll go as Sharon's to Star Trek to Vegas. I hope you can go. If you're saying you want to go, let's go. The more the merrier. We can do a meetup. We can do it. Jack Random, $5. Game of Thrones Hope show climax is Night King battle. Having 2 episodes of politics after fight would be like 20 minutes of politics after Luke destroys Death Star. Exactly. It would be like there being an entire movie after Luke destroys the Death Star. But it looks like that's the only thing that makes me think that's wrong. And we got to thank Charlie at Emergency Awesome. And I'm bringing it up in my video. If you look at the credits, it shows the path of the Night King. Basically, the opening credit scene is the path of the Night King. And it goes past Winterfell to King's Landing. So I think I might have predicted something. I think they might fight the Night King and think they beat him halfway through the season. They start their political nonsense, and then the Night King comes out of nowhere, and then they have to start fighting Night King. I would actually kind of like that. So we will see. No, the Night King has to be the final battle in the penultimate episode in typical Game of Thrones fashion. And then you wrap things up with one long episode. Yeah. I hope they don't do that. I really don't. But man, after season 7, I talk about it in my video. After season 7, nothing's off the table. Loquacious Primate for $5. Thank you, Jack Random. Loquacious Primate for $5. Robert Meyer Burnett has said on a live stream that he would love to come on here. Really? He did? He knows who I am? Well, fuck. Oh man, I'm cussing like a storm this weekend. I mean, this live stream. I'm out of practice, folks. Sorry. God, I'm showing. I'm such a rebel now. Look at me. I'm showing like uncensored trailers on live streams and cussing like a sailor. Yeah, I need to get back in practice because I've already had a couple people ask me not to cuss, and one of them is Mrs. Nerdrotic. So sorry about that. I will try to refrain from the F-bombs, but I do cuss like a sailor. I'm crass. I was raised by wolves. He did. Loquacious Primate. That's he has gone on Mead, and I've seen him there, and they throw shade on Campy all the time. Well, hell, then I will extend an invitation. I would love to have him on. He's seems like I watch his channel all the time. And I would love to have him come to Vegas. If we were all there, that would be so great. Wouldn't that be great? What does the chat say? I hope the Night King wins. I am a white supremacist. Am I a white supremacist? Lord Lovecraft. You're a white supremacist. Yes. Oh, man. Lord Lovecraft. That was funny. All right. So I'm going to the chat here. Would you guys be behind like a Star Trek? God, it kills me that I missed the YouTube meetup at a Star Wars Celebration. It does. I was actually like, I don't get bummed out for like long periods of time. I was bummed out for a long period of time about that, but I couldn't show it because my kid felt super bad. So I'm like, that's all right. No big. I didn't want to go anyway to him. And then I'd be all fuck when I got in my room. But would you guys be, I think it would be fun to have like something like that. I mean, the thing is the Star Wars or not the Star Trek convention. I got the bronze tickets. Those are like expensive, but I don't know if I needed to buy those, but yeah, I needed the write-off. Get your own council getter and just call it Starfleet Command. I'm all behind it, says Tokyo Gaijin. I like that. Star Trek writing equals Star Trek millennialism. Pop Tart Gun. Absolutely. It is everything. It is fan fiction. We don't need to earn anything. No, there's no build up in any scene. Every scene is a payoff scene that has no payoff because we didn't earn anything. Last episode, they just get worse, right? I mean, like they get worse. It starts out okay. So Sarek asking for Michael Burnham's forgiveness. Well, somebody shared with me a great video yesterday, and it's it's Star Wars: The Last Straw by Hack Fraud Media. He does a great explanation of, and it's the textbook it's the definition of a Mary Sue. And one of the definitions of the Mary Sue is older legacy characters apologize and ask for forgiveness from our Mary Sue character. And we had that exact moment when Sarek was asking for forgiveness from Amanda, who has never been nice to Sarek at all, called him impossible, glares at him. And I'm forgetting the actress's name, but she's from the L Word. And she can't act without being breathy. She's all, Michael, we love you. It's like, what the hell? I mean, is she on like her dopamine levels are way the hell off, and then, and Sneak with Martin Green acts the same way. Everything is the greatest line ever delivered. It's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of breathy acting going on. And it's freaking terrible. Echo Based Network, the great Nicholas Glenn. I think casting black people as Norse gods is lame. Am I a white supremacist? Rutger Hauer and as Kunti Kinte, anyone? No, it's lame. It's lame. Having what's her face play the Valkyrie was lame. She wasn't the Valkyrie, she was a Valkyrie. But yeah, I thought that was lame. Just as I would think it the other way. But yeah, that's what they do. It's okay one way and it's not okay the other. That's the problem I have, is the inconsistency. But you're not. No. It doesn't make you a white supremacist to say that Norse gods should probably, that would be like, it's no different if there was an African god cast with a white person. It's the same thing. It just doesn't make any sense. But when it comes to Norse gods, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's make-believe. But when it happens the other way, all of a sudden it fucking matters. And it's just bullshit. And you know what? The thing is, I don't want to play identity politics, but it's usually white people who have a problem with this shit. And it's really, honestly, like, why? I'd be so pissed if they defeat the Night King during the second or third episode. Nicholas Horton, I'd probably stop watching. I'm not kidding. I'd probably just say, fuck this show at that point. But we got to play it out because it might look like they defeat him and they don't. But if they genuinely do defeat him, the show will be dead to me. Should we write off the current ruined franchise, Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, etc., and start writing our own stuff in this community? Yes. 1000% yes. That's the EVS kind of the next step for Comicsgate. That's what Richard did and EVS did. They finally just said F it. Obviously, they don't even want to talk to us. They dehumanized everybody in that movement. So we're going to make our own stuff. And then they wanted to still mess with them. And this is after they said, why don't you go make your own stuff? And they were like, okay, we will. And then Mark Waid wanted to interfere with that because because Mark Waid actually thinks he's a defender of the good. He thinks he's got a superhero complex. That's probably why he wrote such good superheroes for a while, because maybe he's, I don't know. But yeah, you're not defending the weak, Mark. There's a lot of projection going on there. I could psychoanalyze him all day long, and I don't want to do that. I want him to be well. I want him to get the help he needs. right after he gets his ass suit off. You need some kind of swear jar idea when you swear in your own live streams, right? Moons of Madness. So yeah, on Josiah live stream on Josiah Rises, he's a good Christian young man, and I cussed on his stream, so I donated to his swear jar, and I told him that's what he should do from here on out. Maybe I should do my own. Yeah, we kind of should. I think we should. There's a point where there's a point where it's either going to end or we're going to say that's enough. Okay. And honestly, I'm there with Star Wars. Like, I could have made a million Star Wars videos. I just can't get myself to give a shit. I did the trailer reaction, and I got one in mind for Kathleen Kennedy. I really do. But I really can't add to what Jeff does and Jeremy does and EVS does. They are the Star Wars channels to me. Doesn't mean I can't make videos. And Josiah and Odin. Oh, I'm sorry, Anna. Anna is right up there with them, and as Jesse. Those are that's the core of the Fandom Menace. So it's Jeremy, Jeff, EVS, Anna, Jesse, Odin, Josiah. I know I'm forgetting people there, but that's the core. Those are the ones I started listening to the most. I want to get Jesse on too from Mindless Entertainment. Kind of a fanboy of Jesse. So yeah. Is it true that Echo Base Network, that is true. I was on Robert Burnett's live stream and he said he liked your content. Wow. That is really cool to hear. You just made my day. Echo Base Network, Nicholas Glenn, you wonderful person. You $4.99. Thank you, my friend. Well, crap, we got to get you on the channel, man. Hit me up. We'll get you on the channel. The plan is I want to get kind of a rotating third guest on Friday Night Tights with me and Comics Division, so we can definitely put you in the rotation. Shokin, 5 pounds. I think casting black people as Norse gods. Oh, yeah, I already read that. But yes, it's lame. It's totally effing lame. Okay, let's get back to the chat here. I'm loving my Star Trek idea, but I might be the only one who loves it. They are leaning forward on the Deadpool movie. Leaning forward as to how, Man of Action? Like they're going to do it, or they're leaning forward like politically? God, please don't. Not with the goddamn 1800s movie in the West during the gold. I hope I'm wrong about Jessie is pretty handy with a lightsaber. I didn't. Oh, well, yeah. Well, dude, she's a fencer. That's probably not the proper term. Are they going to do another Rome? I loved Rome. I want a Rome season 3. You know, the only reason they cut that out was money. Like it was getting plenty of views and everything. And it was money. God, that was a good show. You know what was a good show? Spartacus. Frackin' Spartacus was a good show. It was lots of. Anna can go full Ewok on you. Ugh. Isn't Colin P. Smith? It is. Casting black actors as Norse gods is cultural appropriation. It is the very definition of their term. Deadwood or Deadpool? Both, Angel. She fences, yes. And she's like a ref, right? She's a ref. She's a professional. Yeah, she's brilliant. Jesse's a star. And I think she's a comedian too, which wouldn't surprise me because she's pretty damn funny. Rome was very, very, very good. It was. Oh my God, it was. Ray Stevenson from Rome visited my comic shop when he did The Punisher. He did indeed. Super nice guy. Echo Base says, I'm all for it. Definitely message you about that. Good. What's the R? What? I think I got an RIP in here. Is that an old one or a new one? Oh, Andy Whitfield from Spartacus. Yeah, Fred. Is it Leggett or Leggett? Yeah, Andy Whitfield. Oh, such a bummer. He was so good in the first season. By the way, folks, if you haven't seen Spartacus, it was produced by Renaissance, which is Sam Raimi's group. So it was basically Xena, whoever did Xena and Hercules and Ash versus Evil Dead did Spartacus. And Andy Whitfield was the star of the first season, and he had Hodgkin's disease and died, but he was so freaking good. And yeah, there's a lot of battle and sex and naked people, and it's a really good show. Yeah, he did. It was so sad. It is, DJ. You are correct. You are correct. Ewoks. I know. Who's Josiah? Child of the Flower. Josiah Rises is a channel. He works for Jeremy over at Geeks and Gamers, and he's been like doing a bunch of work behind the scenes, but he started focusing on his own channel. He also makes a lot of videos for Jeremy. I was on his live stream last week. A really good kid. So go subscribe to Josiah Rises, subscribe to Odin's movie blog, Anna, that Star Wars girl, Jesse, Mindless Entertainment, EVS, of course, Comic Stars Pro Secrets, World Class Bullshitters, Geeks and Gamers, of course, SC Reviews. I'm going to start naming on Bulls Trek, Tharies, Echo Base. I got to make sure I get that right. Oh, hi, Mary. How's it going? Echo Base Network, Mecha Random 42, Doomcock, Midnight's Edge, Robert Breyer Burnett. Subscribe to them all. We're kind of all in this together. Kurtzman and Orsi came from the Xena group, so there's that. Yeah, well, nobody's perfect. Maybe Kurtzman, listen, some people rise above their station, Destiny Captain. Maybe Kurtzman was a real good production assistant and really bad at everything else above that. Now, Orsi, we'll never know, because Robert Orsi was around for Star Trek 2009 and then they booted him. Well, in my opinion, what's the best J.J. Abrams movie? Star Trek 2009. And it's not even that. I mean, it's like, it's entertaining. I was thinking about that on the way back from the gym. Like, what classic movie has JJ done? I'm not talking money. I'm talking about artistically, enjoyably, a classic, something that will be remembered forever, because he's had to have made one to earn all this credit. So what has he done? Where's his Jaws, Close Encounters, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Godfather, The Deer Hunter? Where is it? Because he's earning that kind of money. Where's his freaking Scarface? Where's his Taxi Driver? Where's his Chinatown? Because like all the money he makes, he's had to have made something to that level. Has he? No. Michael Bay has made better movies than J.J. Abrams. And I'm not joking. I would rather watch freaking The Rock, Bad Boys, Armageddon than freaking Super 8, a Mission Impossible 3 or 4. I honestly can't remember which one he did because it was so generically generic. Yeah, Star Trek 2009 is like the only movie by him that I enjoy. I guess there's Force Awakens fans, but like what? I mean, you know, he did okay with Alias, Lost, but wasn't Lost mostly Damon Lindelof? I don't know. Mission Impossible 3. Yeah, Brad Bird did Mission Impossible 4. Jar Jar can only copy something and rip it off. You're right. Guy doesn't have an original bone in his body. Mystery box. All right. Oh boy, it's getting late, folks. It's getting late. All right, I'm gonna get through some more chats here. Did I hit everything on the titles? We talked about Star Trek. We talked about Star Wars. Talked about Bond. Talked about Mark Waid. Talked about Doctor Who. think we covered it all. Star Trek Vegas. Oh, listen, OG Gizmo. I like the cast, but it's not like that's my whole point. Is like it's not a great movie. It's something I watch. I don't mind it existing, and believe me, I'm not going your boy Zach on me. Listen, Zach came around finally on Star Trek Discovery. No, it is still a bad movie, but I like the cast. But they could never move forward with that, and yeah, but that's the only good thing he's done. I don't like Super 8 at all. I thought it's terrible. I thought Super 8 was terrible. Fringe. I would say Fringe would probably be the one thing he was involved with that I enjoyed most of the way through. Yeah, I like Fringe. But it's not worthy of him getting billions of dollars like he's Steven Spielberg. That's my whole point. My whole point is that guy hasn't done jack squat. There are listen, Matthew Vaughn is a better director. Cary Fukunaga, who's doing the Bond film, is a million times better director, and that guy will direct classics before time is done. He will be known everywhere. He's that good. But I would rather have Matthew Vaughn direct a Star Wars film. He's great. There's so many other directors that would have been better. James Gunn, like him or hate him, would direct a better Star Wars film than J.J. Abrams, and is a better director than J.J. Abrams. The Russo brothers. Sorry, it was George Lucas who helped direct episode 1 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, who didn't care about Jon Snow. No direction for you via the Verge article. George Lucas helped direct because David Nutter. So he helped direct episode 1 of Game of Thrones. George Lucas. Well, I mean, the episode was okay. It wasn't any. I mean, it was just a setup episode. That's weird. I'm weirded out now. Yeah, Robert April. I mean, Fringe was a ripoff of X-Files. X-Files is a ripoff of another show. So the Kolchak. So I mean, like, yeah, and people rip off. It's all about execution. If you're going to rip something off, execute it well. Okay. Deep Space Nine, executed well, arguably ripped off. So Lloyd Kaufman is greater than J.J. Abrams, says Dr. Meatball. You're right. We would love you if you would review BSG. Yeah, okay. I love BSG. I can that is something I can consider doing on Nerdrotic Live. I will be firing up my Farscape reviews very soon. So my Farscape reviews, I've already gone through season 2, but the whole point of them when I started them were to be for a new guy to Farscape. I'm new to Farscape, so I'll be reviewing them with fresh eyes. Unfortunately, I've gotten through season 2, so we'll get caught up through that, and then we'll go to the fresh eyes reviews. Matthew Vaughn did he? Nah, he didn't direct Cloverfield. Star Wars is ruined. It has no hope. It doesn't mean when you read after 1990. It doesn't mean when you read this after 1998. Okay, arguably. Okay, maybe not arguably. Maybe not arguably. It was ripped off. I like. Yeah, they're both good. It's all about the execution. If you're gonna rip something off, do it good. Okay. I love the original Cylon Raiders Pop-Tart gun. It's one of the best designed ships. I love old Battlestar Galactica. I love all Battlestar Galactica. I love it all. I love it all. He was also a producer of Person of Interest. I heard was a pretty good show. He's also a producer of Westworld season 1, which is good, but Westworld season 2, which totally sucked. I don't think Tarantino's going to be doing that. No, they're not going to be making Star Trek movies over at Paramount, because I just heard from my insider that the Viacom CBS thing is all but a done deal. They have a new CEO. The CEO of CBS will be an underling to the CEO of Viacom. It will once again be Viacom. So CBS will not be the big, they will not be on their own anymore, and they will have to answer to people. So that's a big deal. That's part of my video that's coming up tomorrow morning or later tonight. And the changes are coming. So nothing is set in stone right now. Zero, nada. Not even Picard. They added some cast members to Picard, but they are going to have to go on their own on this one. CBS is going to have to pay for this show as it stands right now. I wish I was kidding. That's right. All right, everybody. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. All right. Wow. We got a lot of super chats there. So I'm going to thank all the super chatters. They are Skygoo, Tharies, Lonnie Holcomb, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. I hope you're feeling better, friend. The Big Red Bear, Mr. Roboto, Christian Basil, the Big Red Bear, Echo Base Network, who is Nicholas Glenn, JS, the Big Red Bear, Mr. Roboto, Elliot Nelson, Rebecca Gold. Thank you for that trailer. It was funny. Derek Raju, Alex Saunders, Justin Doyle, Mr. Roboto, Bryce Brierly for $20. Thank you so much. Peter Davison, Philomax, the G-Spot, Tharies again. Oh man, we're going to do a Star Trek crossover and Doctor Who crossover. It's only going to be fun. I can't see a problem with that, Tharies. Let's do it. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Shokin for £5. Thank you. Quantum Hawk for $5. Peter Davison for an Australian $10. Jack Random for $5. Peter Davison for an Australian $2. Demonic Bioman for $2. The Doctor 14 Blu-ray reviews. Good to see you again, my friend, for £5. Echo Base Network, who is Nicholas Glenn, $4.99. Fireside Chats for $2. Tokyo Gaijin for 600 yen. Dragon Volder X for $2. Thank you, my friend. Jack Random for $5. Loquacious Primate, Lord Lovecraft, Echo Base Network, which is again Nicholas Glenn. Shokin and Destiny Captain says Stargate for frack's sake. Yes. For $1.99, just because you asked so nicely, Destiny Captain. Stargate is on the list. It is that and Babylon 5. I know I'm going to get killed for that one, but I haven't watched it all the way through. It just came out in a time I wasn't watching a ton of TV. I was too busy hating my first marriage. I can't think of anything else. So thank you, everybody, for the super chats, please. And thank you to all the patrons. Let's run the Patreon video, to be fair. Give me just a second. Oh, my God. I've got like 900 screenshots on my desktop here. Hang on a second. It's not good for the computer, especially when they're high res. I have those in my, I do those for my videos and stuff. Okay, here we go. Oh, where'd you go, you son of a bitch? And yeah, again, it's a one-man show. So it'll pop up in just a second. There we go. And as it's going, and again, Demonic Bioman is misspelled. So apologies to Demonic Bioman. These are our wonderful patrons. I've gotten so many new ones. So the tiers are going to be a change in. They're going to be a little cheaper because the package tiers have been sold out. But I'm going to readjust them, and that way some more people can get comic books, because there was 3 exclusive comic books that I sold at my shop. The Comic Outpost that were exclusive to my store that I still have some left, and I'm going to pass them on to my patrons. Plus, there's going to be content. So here's the deal, folks. I am going to be going live daily, but not here. So we're still going to have 3 live streams here. We're going to have the Nerdrotic Nooner Monday, Wednesday. And then on Friday night, we're going to have Friday Night Tights with Comics Division and a rotating host. Saturday, I will be live on Twitch. I got a Twitch channel. This was all because of my copyright strike. And it taught me that I should, diversify and spread out a little bit. There's other live platforms that I will be using for Tuesday and Thursday. I haven't quite decided which ones they will be. I'm setting up my Streamlabs, and yeah, so I'll be able to be live in multiple places at one time, but yeah, maybe we'll mix it up. But Nerdrotic Live is another place I'm going to be live now. I'm going to be doing, if you guys remember, if you're new here, I used to do a lot of TV recaps. Well, I'm going to be picking a lot of those up at Nerdrotic Live. So Nerdrotic Live, look for Doom Patrol, look for Twilight Zone, look for Happy, look for American Gods. Star Trek Discovery, Orville are going to be here on the big channel with Game of Thrones is Sunday. Yeah, so there's only 5 more, but every Sunday right after Game of Thrones, Doomcock is right here co-hosting with me. We can go as long as you like. And we're doing a Game of Thrones or post Game of Thrones show, kind of like Talking Dead, except without all the movie stars, probably, and or time limits, and no shill, by the way, 0 shill. If it sucks, we're going to tell you. Tin Shield 20, thank you for the $1.99. I greatly appreciate it towards the end there. Thank you so much. You got a question? I will hang out for a question. Oh man, that made my day to hear Robert Meyer Burnett liked my stuff. That's good. Well, the only reason I'm here is because of you guys, folks. You yeah, you guys make it possible for this to be my job. And despite getting basically kicked in the balls last week or 2 weeks ago before I went on vacation, enough of you supported me where everything's cool. So that's good to report. And it's good to hear Mecca got hit and then it got taken away. But that stuff is going to start happening more. Believe me, that was just a warning shot, in my opinion. So we're going to hopefully, that's why I'm diversifying a little bit. So thank you again for all of your support. I can't thank you guys enough. You are the best chat out there. You make me laugh. You give me information. Hell, Matt, if it wasn't for Matt, I wouldn't have had a video this morning. So thanks, man. Howdy and good night, CD Horde. And thank you to my wrenches, Mary Ashmead. Thank you, Mark Lazarth, Echo Bass. It's good to have you as a new wrench. Nicholas Glenn, Cato Roan, it's great to see you. Chris Persia, thank you guys for your hard work. I greatly appreciate it. Where's Penn? Penn must be working. Well, you tell Penn Farm Girl I miss her. And everybody in the chat, thanks so much. And I will see you Friday night for Friday Night Tights, 7 p.m. Pacific time with Comics Division. And who knows who will be joining us. And look for a Bulls Trek team up. Possibly, hopefully this Saturday. Also, I'm guesting on a radio show this Saturday evening, and an Exozone will be coming very soon. Did you catch that Rakeda said you should message him about the legal representation about the copyright claims and loss of income? I did, and I still need to message him, and I need to do that like right after the stream. There's a couple things I need to do right after the stream. So I will. That is good to know, because yeah, hang on, Rakeda. Excellent. Thank you, Lethal Diva. I appreciate it. Take it easy, Stanley. Everybody have a good night. Until next time, may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.